people that work for us, the employees. And that investment is through trainings, development, paying them well, such that they appreciate, get inspired, and motivated. Then they will give us that level of desired competitiveness. That we shall be able to explain how human resources are the engine, controller, and converter of all other resources in an organization. You can have other resources like machinery, land, finances, but they become meaningless. They don't make any contribution until a human resource, that is a person working for that particular organization, makes a decision on their use, okay? So we shall be appreciating that indeed it is the human resource factor that is the engine that controls, regulates, and manages the other functions. So when you get this course outline, with it, I have provided the different topics that we shall be covering. For example, we need to gain an overview of human resource management, getting to understand the concept of human resource management, the role that human resource management plays, the challenges that are inherent in the management of human resources. So we shall get to appreciate all those. Number two is that we shall understand the concepts and meaning of human resource planning. What is it that we mean when we talk about human resource planning? Is it relevant? What rationale is it? What rationale does it have, for us to talk about human resource planning? And then what is the process? What stages do we undergo when we are planning for human resources for an organization? And what challenges do we face? Number three, we shall look at job analysis. Job analysis, how we collect data on the different jobs that exist within an organization, analyze such data, and be able to understand what the jobs are, what they involve in terms of tasks that are performed in those jobs, the requirements that each and every person who is potentially likely to take up the job must have. In other words, the qualifications, the requirements, how do we determine them? How do we determine what a person must have for them to be qualified for that particular job, okay? So we shall be looking at all those things. And the methods that we use. Is it number four? Number four, we shall be looking at recruitment and selection of employees. What is recruitment? What is selection? Okay. What are they, and how do we use them? Okay. What methods do we use to recruit, to select, and how do we make them more effective? Number six, we shall be looking at human resource training and development. We need to train employees to equip them with the required skills, competencies, and capabilities for them to be able to perform and deliver to the expected standards. So we shall understand what training is, determining training needs. When did we come up to say someone requires a training, and a training in what area? How do we get to understand that this person should be taken for training in computer applications? How do we get to appreciate that this person needs a training in customer care? So we shall be looking at all these aspects, and therefore get to appreciate how we conduct human resource training and development. Then we shall look at performance appraisal. Performance appraisal. How do we assess employees that we hire, that to understand if they are really contributing to the meeting of the objectives for which they are hired? So we must assess, we must appraise these people. Then rewarding. Each of us looks for a job because we want to provide a service for which we earn a living, for which we are paid. So how do we determine pay? How do we come up to know when to pay and how to pay? And which types of rewards do we have at our disposal? Which one can we employ more competitively and during what time? Then look at the issues of motivation. Everyone wants to be inspired. Everyone wants to have their employees, hyped and feeling happy and feeling, content and satisfied with their jobs, and therefore being able to contribute because of that drive, that desire to work that they have. So there are factors that we employ to drive the people in the required direction, to give them that inspiration, to give them that urge, what we call the motivation. Then we shall look at staff adjustments within the organization. We can do promotions, we can do transfers, we can do demotions, so we look at mechanisms that we use to adjust employees within an organization. Then the issues of health and safety. A human being must live a healthy life. It's not about only our homes, but wherever we are, we spend more time in the workplaces. So where we are, how are we seated? Do we have enough aeration? Do we have enough lighting? Are we protected from these computers that we use, probably using anti-glare and other health hazards? How safe are we? Are we secure from dangerous objects? So a good workplace is the one that is cautious about health and safety of employees and makes arrangements to ensure that employees operate in a safe and healthy working environment. Then we shall, of course, under there, we look at issues of stress. Stress. Kindly, I'm seeing the same message, concentrate and listen and take notes where you can. I will share the slides or the materials when I feel it is relevant. I will share when I deem, but it's not about continuing over the same thing. I'm reading your messages, but I share the slides. I need you to be attentive rather than only focusing on the slides. You are here to learn, and therefore it's more important to listen in and get what I'm saying. Okay. Now, what was I saying? Discipline in the workplace is another factor or another issue that we need to understand in the practice of human resource management. So what do we mean by discipline in the workplace? What are the grounds for disciplinary action? And how do we manage discipline in the workplace? So we look at all these things, and therefore, at the end of it all, be people who have knowledge and understanding of human resource management, and be prepared to even specialize in human resource management, and therefore prepare to become HR managers and HR officers of different organizations. That is our objective. That's our focus, that we need to understand how to manage people in organizations such that these people can be productive, can be effective, because they are the only resource of an organization that has a skill, that has blood, that has knowledge, that has the understanding, that has control over any other resource. Therefore, we take advantage of these unique attributes that we have and focus on managing our people in the most effective way. Do I have any question at that stage? Do I have any question at that stage?
No questions, Doctor.
Thank you, Nabukera. No question. No question. So, since you are agitating for material,
recording stopped.
See if I can share something here. I'm just trying to share the materials. Don't wonder what is happening. Unfortunately, I think I'm not on your group, am I? So I've just shared some handout with the Jonathan.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I've shared some handout with Jonathan. So Jonathan can feel free to share with the rest of you on your group. Okay. So Jonathan, you can share with the members, and then now, having taken you through the general issues that we shall be addressing, let me now introduce you to the subject of human resource management. What do we mean? What is it exactly about? When we talk about human resource management, we need you, first of all, to appreciate at the backbone of your mind, or at the back of your mind, put it in your daily understanding that when we talk about human resource management, we are largely interested in people who work for organizations. That is our main focus. The employees, the human resources. The human resources are the employees, are the people working for particular organizations. And therefore, the cornerstone of human resource management is actually placing particular emphasis on people working for organizations and regarding them as the most valued asset of any organization. That employees are the most valued asset of any organization. And therefore, if people working for organizations are the most valued among all other assets, then that means the way we manage them, the way we treat them, the way we handle them needs to be unique, needs to be actually distinctive. Okay? So what is the interest in people? Why the interest in people? We are interested in people because they are people who make all other factors of production to operate. We are interested in people because among all other assets, it is only people who have the skills, they have talent, and they are productive. And they have attitude. So the way you treat people, they are likely to show you attitude depending on how you treat them. If you treat them well, they are going to be positive towards you. You mismanage them, they are going to develop negative attitude towards you and your work. So we need to appreciate that people are unique in comparison to other factors of production or assets of an organization. Two, we need to appreciate that people can influence productivity, quality, and profitability. It is an employee or a group of employees that will work hard to make the organization become productive and therefore profitable. These people can improve or compromise the quality of an organization. So let us appreciate that whereas organizations have several assets, people are the most important of all assets of an organization. In that way, then what is human resource management? Before we understand what human resource management, we need to unpack that concept, human resource management. Human resource, a resource that is of human nature that we are managing. Therefore, when we talk about human resource, we have said the human resource is people. Then we need to manage them. We need to manage them. Now, before we manage these people, then we need to appreciate what management is. So my question is, what is management? The concept of management has been defined differently by different scholars. However, the general definitions of management revolve around specific aspects that focus on completion of activities using people to achieve organizational goals. According to DeCenzo and Robbins, in their book of 2003, on page 2, they urge that management is the process of efficiently getting activities completed with and through other people. Can you hear that? That management is the process of efficiently getting activities completed with and through other people. In other words, organizations have activities that they want to complete in order to achieve a particular objective. However, to complete those tasks, they need people. And therefore, the process of us making these people work upon these activities and completing them to achieve the overall goal is what we call management. So that's why he's saying that management is the process of efficiently and effectively getting activities completed with and through other people. With, because you don't work alone, you work with people. Through, at times, we don't even be there, but we assign other people to complete tasks as we monitor, as we follow up. That means you are working through that person or group of people. Therefore, management is largely concerned with the planning, organizing, and leading, as well as controlling activities of the organization to achieve particular objectives. So we can define it in terms of its process or functions, which include planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And in that way, we focus on dealing with people. Therefore, having understood what human resource management is, someone is complaining about the network. Is it my network or some person's network? Okay, so let us now ask ourselves that if we get to understand management in that general context, where we are focusing on that process that ensures that we efficiently get activities completed with and through other people, then the question is, what is human resource management? As I have already emphasized, when we talk about human resource management, our preoccupation moves away from other general resources, but pays particular attention to a resource called people or employees. Therefore, our major interest is on people working for organizations. There are two importantly scholarly definitions that I want to expose to you that brings out the message that I'm emphasizing about the importance of people. One scholar called Story, in his book of 2001, on page 6, he defines human resource management as a distinctive approach to employment management, which seeks to achieve a competitive advantage through the strategic deployment of a highly committed and capable workforce using an array of cultural, structural, and personality techniques. That when we talk about human resource management, it is a distinctive approach. When we talk about something that is distinctive, it means that something is unique, that something is outstanding, that something is a standalone. Therefore, human resource management is said to be distinctive in its approach. So they are arguing that it is that field that is distinctive, that is unique in approaching employment management. That means managing employees. Okay? Please kindly, if you don't have what to post, let you not disrupt my flow. I have already shared the materials with your colleagues. And Jonathan, kindly, can you share the materials with your colleagues? And I would only appreciate if there's something you put up the hand, or you can ask a question rather than making unnecessary demands that divert my attention. Okay, maybe someone joined late. And as I said, I'll only entertain people who use their true names for registration and enrollment for class. Whenever you come in, please put both your names. If you don't, I'll have no choice but only to exit you. So I was explaining that when we talk about human resource management, it is argued that it is a distinctive approach to employment management which seeks to achieve a competitive advantage. Now, a competitive advantage, meaning we gain an edge in whatever we do in employment, in our organizations. So our aim is to achieve a competitive advantage. And how do we achieve a competitive advantage? We do so through deployment of, through strategic, the word is strategic deployment. We want to strategically deploy people, not just placing them anyhow. So we achieve a competitive advantage through the strategic deployment of a highly committed and capable workforce. Committed, people who are ready to sacrifice for the organization, who are ready to put in more effort and time than expected, people who are likely to stay longer with the organization, people who identify themselves with the organization and continue working well. And what we are saying, we are talking about deployment, strategic deployment. We need to put people in those places where they are competent, where they are qualified, where they are capable. And in doing so, we are saying we use an array of techniques, which techniques are structural, cultural, and personnel. Cultural in the way that we shape the value systems, the beliefs, the way of life, the way of doing things in our organization. Structural, we design, arrangements, relationships, communication, how people interact and work closely. Okay, and the personnel, we want strategies that focus on people and making sure that people work well and therefore are contributing. So that is one definition. The second definition is one given by Armstrong, 1999. Armstrong, 1999, defines human resource management as a strategic and coherent approach to the management of an organization's most valued asset. We are talking about a strategic and coherent approach to the management of an organization's most valued asset. And what is this asset? He goes ahead to say that the people working there who individually and collectively contribute to its goals. In other words, when we talk about human resource management, we want to create strategic linkages and a coherence in approaching the management of people working in these organizations, whom we regard as the most valued asset, okay? So people are the most valued asset. And if they are the most valued asset, what Michael Armstrong is agitating for is to have a strategic and coherent approach to managing them. And human resource management as a field, as a subject, provides that platform, provides the ground, provides the yardsticks, the techniques, the tools.
Speaker is damaged. His internet is damaged. My speaker, man. He's not speaking.
Wycliffe Amanya, kindly mute. Wycliffe Amanya, kindly mute. May I request Wycliffe Amanya, Sandra, Tumusime to mute. Wycliffe, you mute and you unmute. I don't know what's happening. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. However, when we talk about human resource management, some people may come across another term called personnel management, or could have heard about personnel management. And one question that may linger in your minds, that may linger over your heads, that may hover over your heads, could be, what is the difference between human resource management and personnel management? That is a question that I pose for you to engage with, to discuss. And when you get that handout that I've shared with you through Jonathan, your class rep, at the end of it all, there is that question that asks you to examine and discuss any differences or similarities between personnel management and human resource management. Therefore, for that particular reason, I'm not going to explaining what they are. But I want you to appreciate that human resource management, as we have explained, is more strategic. It focuses on emphasis on people as the most valued assets, and therefore employing strategic approaches to the realization of the goal objective through distinctive management of people. Okay. What are the policy goals of HRM? HRM has policy goals that it focuses towards achieving. Number one is that HRM focuses on strategic integration. Strategic integration. What does this mean? That an organization must be able to integrate human resource issues into its strategic planning. Rita, can I remove you? Rita Nandutu, can you mute, please? Okay. And Sandra, I don't know why you're going muting and unmuting, muting and unmuting. Sandra Tumusime, kindly just mute your mic and pay attention. You mute, you unmute. Now again, you have unmuted. And when you unmute, you make noise without knowing. Okay? So I was explaining the HRM policy goals. I've said number one is a strategic integration. And this is the ability of the organization to integrate HR issues into its strategic plans. Every organization develops what we call a strategic plan. Strategic plan is a futuristic direction, is a plan that the organization develops to guide her activities over a long period of time. It defines the future of the organization and how it intends to reach that intended goal in the long term. Now, when we are undertaking that futuristic planning for a period over time, we are saying that we must be able to consider HR issues and make sure that they are integrated in that strategic planning. For example, Makerere University can sit today and develop a 5-year plan, 2022 to 2026, 5 years. That is what it defines what they want to do over a period of 5 years in order to achieve something specific. In doing so, if we are saying, for example, Makerere currently has 10 colleges and they want to expand and grow to 15 colleges, the HR person is saying that is the direction that Makerere is taking, to expand and grow from the current 10 colleges to 15 colleges in the next 5 years. Therefore, what are the human resource needs? What are the human resource issues that we must address, that we must put in place to help us achieve and have additional 5 colleges to the current 10 to make 15? The HR person will be identifying the human resource needs in terms of staffing. The principals, the lecturers, the administrative staff will be thinking in terms of the wage bill, the welfare of people, will be thinking in terms of facilitation, office space, computers, and so forth and so on, that are required to have people effectively perform and meet the standards that are required so as the organization to achieve its strategic objectives. So the integration, the strategic integration, is making sure that you marry or you link or you connect, you make sure that as you identify the strategic issues, you connect and link to the human resource requirements that are made to help you achieve that goal or objective. Number two as a goal is what we call high commitment to pursue agreed goals. High commitment. We talked about deploying a highly committed workforce. Therefore, human resource management has a goal of achieving high levels of commitment from employees towards achieving the desired goal. We as employees, when we are hired, we must understand the goal of our employer, the organization, and therefore be committed to pursuing the achievement of that goal. We don't want mediocres. We don't want people who will come and simply waste time on the job. We want people who are committed, people who are motivated, people who will feel inspired and love the organization by getting associated and attached to the objectives of the organization. Number three, the other goal of HRM is quality, high quality in terms of what we do. This is in terms of the services that we offer, in terms of the products that we produce and put on the market. We must breathe quality, we must exercise quality, we must deliver quality. That is a focus of human resource management. People must appreciate the importance of quality and make sure that whatever they lay their hands to, whatever they plan, whatever they think about, whatever decision they make, delivers quality for the organization. Okay, so we want to see to it that there is actually quality, not in terms of outputs or services, but we're also interested in the quality of the employees, the quality of the people that we hire, the quality of the people that we employ, because when they are people of quality, then they will deliver quality outputs. Number 4 is flexibility. Flexibility. Organizations aim at achieving flexible working arrangements. We know that we are dealing with people, and therefore people require flexible approaches. We don't require to be so rigid in our approaches. Therefore, as managers of organizations, we must ensure that organizations put in place mechanisms that will support flexible working arrangements. For example, they are emphasizing flexibility in terms of functions that organizations must train and skill their employees to be able to multitask and multifunction. We need people who can take on different functions at the same time. And what does that call for? Train your people, equip them with varied skills. They also emphasize what we call numerical flexibility, that organizations should be able to vary numbers of employees as and when conditions demand or dictate. Okay, so those are the main policy HRM policy goals. Okay, however, to understand HRM better, we need to know characteristics of HRM. What are these characteristics? Number one is that HR is diverse. HRM is very diverse. It encompasses almost every field and it operates in almost every field. Whether you go to medicine, you need people who will help you work in that line. Whether you go to engineering, still you are working with the people and therefore you want people managers. Whether you go to any particular organization, every organization has people and therefore it wants HRM and therefore HR officers. So we must know that HRM covers a vast array of activities and therefore it has a huge range of areas of focus. You know, it applies to all occupations, it applies to all organizations and at all levels of management. Number two, the other characteristic is strategic. I've talked about this under HRM policies, but as we have emphasized, we need to make sure that there is a fit between the HR plans and the strategic plans. So there must be that connection, that linkage, that integration. Number three is commitment oriented. HRM focuses on commitment, achieving high levels of commitment from employees who are really willing to put in extra effort to work for more hours, who get to identify with the goals of the organization, who can get attached to the organization and feel they belong to that particular organization. Number four is focus on mutuality. Mutuality is about shared interests, common interests. HRM argues that employees and their managers must have a common goal because all of them are there to contribute to organizational performance, achievement of a particular goal. Therefore, that's what we are talking about, sharing interests in a common way. So mutuality, that what concerns you as my employees concerns me, okay? Concerns me as your employer. And if you are happy as my employees, then the organization is going to tick. Therefore, I should be concerned about your welfare. I should be concerned about your motivation. I should be concerned about your well-being. Because when you are happy, when you are motivated, and you are going to perform, and when you perform, me as a manager, I am performing, and the organization as a whole is performing. Okay? Number five is treating people as assets. When you are given an opportunity to manage others, don't simply take them as mere employees. No, these people are a resource. These people are an asset, and therefore value them. And most importantly, we have said that people or employees of an organization are the most important of all assets. So if you have anything that is so valuable beyond any other aspect or valuable item, this is your most valuable item, how do you manage it? You must give it due attention. Treat it in a better way, in the most important way, because it is your most valued asset. Don't tell people you are mere employees. Don't tell people we hired you, we pay you. Yes, everyone knows you pay them, but it goes beyond just payment. It's about how you treat me. It's about how I treat you. It's about how we treat each other. Assuming I came here and I just started abusing you guys, you know, You are students, yes. I'm your lecturer, yes. But we are all human beings and we are here for a purpose. And there is a common point that brings your purpose and my purpose together. That I must offer service to you for me to achieve my goal, and you must get a service from me for you to achieve your goal. So our desires are complementary. They depend on each other and they support each other, okay? So we must treat people as assets. Number next is focus on business values. We must develop a philosophy that actually pays attention to people, that emphasizes the interests of people. And when we have such a philosophy, when we have values that are oriented towards the interests of the people and the interests of the organization, then we are going to be effective. Organization of us as employee-centered outcomes. I'm here to achieve my objectives, as I told you, but I cannot achieve my objectives while I'm at Makerere without serving Makerere. And Makerere cannot achieve her objectives without, getting a service from me. Therefore, we must ensure that there is a harmonious working relationship between employees and their managers, as well as the organization. Okay, do I have any question? Anyone with a question for me? Feel free to ask. Any question? No? If there's no question, then I want to ask you to help me answer these questions. What roles do you think an HR person plays? What do you think is the role of an HR person? You as an HR manager, you are preparing to become an HR manager tomorrow. What do you foresee as being your role in an organization? Feel free to put up your hands. Feel free to put up your hands and let me know. Are you with me, or people have abandoned me in the room? Rachel is saying that he allocates duties to specific workers. And Martha is saying that an HR person is one responsible for recruitment of workers. Rita is talking about ensuring good working conditions for employees. And Erineo is talking about motivating fellow workers, allocation of resources. Okay. Namatovu is talking about paying workers. Now, don't write, I think. That one I'm not reading because it needs me to concentrate, I think. Ensuring discipline of workers. Yes, those are points. To the point, succinct. Appraisal of workers from Winifred. Minimizes employee productivity. Sure. Whitney. No. Contributes the process of restructuring. Okay, performance evaluation, training. Okay. Supervision of subordinates. Ensuring proper working environment. Ensuring that facilities for running the business are available. Okay. Set organizational objectives. Ensuring quality management. Yes. So when we talk about an HR person, development of employees, thank you, Birunji. Now, when we talk about an HR person, he does all that you've mentioned. Just to pick out a few things that you have not mentioned is one, that HR practitioners are business partners to line managers. You as an HR person, you work hand in hand with the other managers. So you develop a partnership. You are going to work with the head of department of finance and accounting. You are going to work hand in hand with the manager marketing. They cannot recruit. They cannot hire any new person without going through you as the HR person. They cannot pay salary without understanding you and working with you. So you become a business partner, a strategic business partner, that you are positioned so importantly that almost everything that concerns people, it has to get your approval and your action. So you become a strategic business partner to other line managers. Number two is that you as an HR person, you are a change agent, a change leader. You initiate new programs. You check and understand where the organization or employees are not performing and come up with new approaches, come up with new strategies, change what is not working, and therefore put in place what can work. In that way, you become a change agent or a change leader. You have mentioned sourcing of human resources, for example, recruitment and selection. That is there for sure. You talked about performance management. You talked about reward management. Someone talked about quality. It's your responsibility as an employee manager to instill a culture of quality within your people. Okay. In relation to that, we talk about culture management, and indeed, Letitia mentions it in the chat room. Culture management. Culture management is simple about defining the way of life within an organization, how work should be organized, how generally people should conduct themselves, and how they should relate, what we cherish, what we believe in, the value systems, all those ones constitute the culture, what we believe in, how we approach things. Okay? It is your duty as an HR person to ensure that you win commitment. You want your employees to get attached to the organization, to feel indebted to the organization, to feel willing to stay longer. That is your duty. Okay? But what are the challenges? What are the challenges associated with the human resource management? Tell me, what are the challenges? May I see hands or messages flowing in the chat room? Yes. This business of dash dash. There's no person called dash dash. I'll not mention your point. Sarah Suarez, adapting to new innovations. Yes, new innovations are coming up every day. How do we adapt? Thank you very much, Suarez, for that. Retaining experienced workers is a big challenge. Napokera asante sana. The more knowledge we acquire, the more experience we acquire, we want to go elsewhere. Other people are interested in us. Retaining is a very, very big challenge. A challenge of training is not easy. Recruiting workers. Someone is talking about corruption, and corruption is entrenched in almost everything. Organizational resources. You hire people, can you pay them or not? Can you afford or not? Okay? Issues of diversity. How do you deal with the issues of gender, issues of race, issues of, tribe, and different issues of diversity? They are there, but you are an HR person. issues of disabilities, all those grounds that create differences among people. Compensating, what is adequate, what is enough, what is attractive, what is competitive. You know, how, you know, it's very difficult for you to compensate and, you know, meet ethical issues, sexual harassment, bribery, you know, unwelcome behaviors and conduct within an organization. All those are issues. Or Patrick, I'm not understanding. Challenge of handling safeguarding issues. I don't know what you mean by handling safeguarding issues. Yes, globalization. We are living in a global world. You know, challenges. People learn what is happening elsewhere and they want to bring it to your organization, some of which you may not adapt to, as someone talked about challenges of innovation and adaptation, you know. Managing various sectors in the organization. What do you mean, Ankunda Recho? Managing various sectors. What do you mean by various sectors? Yes, Jaffa. Compliance with the laws and regulations. You know, we have laws that govern employment. Some people are simply hired without and fired freely, but you cannot just fire anyone without notice. Employee health. Some people sit in offices which are like, you know, saunas, no aeration, you know, they are prone to accidents. So that's a big challenge. Okay. Achieving teamwork is not easy. Limited coordination among departments. Linda, thank you. Declining commitment, indeed, faith. People are no longer strongly committed to the organizations. They are just there to earn a living. But you tell them to work, you ask them, are you really committed to your organization? They're like, I'm just here. If I got an opportunity tomorrow, I would leave. NABO. Over NABO what? Challenges are many, but what? Look at this one. Mention, okay, one. Many, but what? Mention one. Okay. With that, I come to an end of my lecture for today. Unless there is any question. Do you have any question? Yes, that's a very good point. Challenge of retaining talented employees. Now you are talking, but next time you sign in with your true name. Yes, you make a very good point. Retaining talented employees is not easy. So, I request it to end here, please, class. Thank you, Jaffa. Thank you for appreciating. Yes, Sarah Suarez, you are free to specialize in HR. It's one of the most interesting areas and professions. Okay. Good. Thank you. I end here. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.